You want to start?
Sure.
Or do you want me to start?
No, I'll start.
Okay.
Today, finally,
today.
at long last, years of mystery will be put to place when we find out why Auntie Michelle is a member of the Estes Park Auxiliary.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah. She's a pretend cop?
Well, she's like one step. Would it be above or below a mall cop? Michelle, inquiring minds want to know.
If she's just run him over, she's on top. If he's just run her over,
see, and I went to a whole nother place. They should. Oh.
See, you have a dirty mind.
Until I missed church. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah, you find out about Michelle being part of auxiliary. We don't know whether they're more important or less important than mall cops on the hierarchy of things. We know they're below James Bond and Steve McGarrett.
Right.
My Steve McGarrett, not the one from that last debacle that only lasted 8 years.
And maybe Angie Dickinson.
Oh, yeah. You know
what was her name in that show? Pepper?
Pepper.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, are we old?
Yeah.
We can remember that crap. I don't remember.
I remember Earl Holliman was her boss, okay?
So man.
Anyway, if you want to hear interesting artifacts like that spit out of our brains when we can't actually remember our name or to go to the bathroom at times.
Hello.
At times. Simply like, subscribe, and follow. This is True Really News. Wasn't that a show too?
You know what?
Something like that? Yeah. Like, subscribe, and follow. This is Truly News. Please. Because if you don't, I'll sit here and ramble, and then I'll forget that I've asked you. If you would, could you please like, subscribe, and follow This is Truly News? And by the time I'm done 20 minutes later, I'll have said it 400,000 times, and someone will have called the doctor, and we know how that goes.
That's right.
So please, like, subscribe, and follow This is Truly News. Find a weird story, send it to titr@netradio.network. And if you want to find out why Michelle is an auxiliary cop or mall cop, Secret Service, I forget. But we'll find out why. A story that illustrates it perfectly coming up next.
This is True Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
Tell me something. Why is it when Mitch McConnell has a stroke in public, he stops talking?
He's a politician.
And way smarter than us.
No, that's the one instance I'll argue with you. There's a hierarchy of things.
Okay.
Politicians, dirt, rocks.
Ooh, magma.
Us.
Oh, we're on the top.
Then there are idiots, morons, normal people, smart people, geniuses. Oh. So we're sort of in the middle, as middles go.
Let's find out how sort of in the middle the French Parliament is.
When's the last time the French Parliament was actually in the middle, politically speaking?
Well,
June of never.
But they seem to vacillate wildly between their two extremes. Here's why. French Parliament has passed a law that allows the police to remotely activate cameras, microphones, and GPS on cell phones and other electronic devices. Lawmakers said the police will only be able to use those powers to snoop on those Suspected of crimes punishable by a minimum of 5 years in prison.
Really?
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, that can't fail.
Yeah.
Miserably.
There's no place for abuse here.
I don't possibly see several real live movies and a couple of science fiction takeoffs.
It's the latest step.
Actually, I think we already got the science fiction. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's the latest step by the French government.
And I don't mean Isaac Asimov either, by the way. So
technology to increase its power. 2 years ago, it expanded the use of drones to keep an eye on suspects. And in June, following riots after police shot a teenager dead during a traffic stop, President Emmanuel Macron said the government should have the power to shut down social media during civil unrest. Nothing could go wrong there either. There is no, the French.
That will be a totalitarian effort that will work just fine.
As a totalitarian effort. Exactly. When it comes down to freedom, the French, you guys get an F today.
Well, most days, really.
And you were pretty good at it. I remember one day in 1789, you did pretty well.
You guys were very good. And from then on,
it's kind of sucked.
See, it's why we are, by the way, here's your history lesson. The United States of America is not a democracy.
That's correct.
We are a republic.
A representative republic.
A democratic
Mhm.
republic.
Yep.
The difference is democracy is one step up from mob rule,
Yep.
i.e., France. Right? How many revolutions have they had at last count? 5?
Well, I don't know. You going to include clothing and crepes?
Crepes, definitely.
Yeah, there we go.
A particularly curious elk, a cow by gender, wandered into the girl elk. Wandered into a gift store.
Are the males cowboy elk?
No, they're called sir.
Because they're big.
When you meet one, you'll hello, sir.
Yeah, I have. They're huge.
Let me just back away. Buffalo are intimidating, but I think elk are more intimidating because they're not quite as big, as massive as a buffalo,
Mhm. but
they're big and look like they can move. And believe me, they can.
And their eyesight's better. Buffalo can only see about 30 feet.
Yeah, that's why they're so crabby. A particularly curious female elk wandered into a gift store, and you suppose she identifies the female? No, I'm sorry. Back to the particularly curious elk that wandered into a gift store at Estes Park, Colorado this week, where she was spotted strolling twixt the racks of ornaments, doodads, and tote bags. Deirdre Kinley, the owner of Favorite Things, you might want to Google them on your Facebook thing, on the Facebook deal.
Yeah.
She's got some pictures. It's kind of cute. Deirdre had heard that the inquisitive animal was in the area, but hadn't really expected to see her pottering among the trinkets and greeting cards in her store. Kinley told the local news site, "I didn't realize she was still around. Doing something on my iPad, looked up, and there she was."
Can I help you?
So Kinley called Michelle. Well, she didn't actually call Michelle personally.
Okay.
She called the auxiliary police, who, of course, put up the Michelle signal. It's like the bat signal, only it has an M.
They were going to use her first and last initials, but
yeah,
the MF didn't look so good.
There are just too many variations on that rascal.
Yeah.
Could have used her maiden name, but then who would have understood? That's just a long story.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I now? Well, the Michelle signal was up.
Yep.
The auxiliary police came to help and gently guided the elk out without startling her. She got some pictures that are up on her Facebook page. A particularly curious cow elk has apparently... hang on. Kinley reminded folks that she keeps her front door propped open to invite people in.
Elks are people.
Although she said, "I have had a few chipmunks, one bird, and now an elk."
When it gets to the black bear, really rethink.
Then you want to close the door.
Yeah.
Or put up a sign because, I'm sure they're literate. Officials believe this was the same, they're the same. There's literate as people who won't carry guns into places that tell you not to.
Mm-hmm.
Officials believe this was the same animal that has visited other Estes Park businesses over recent weeks. Just a few days ago, she was spotted browsing a beef jerky store alongside the customers.
Maybe she's just shopping for Christmas.
Again, the call went out for the auxiliary. The Michelle sign went up, and they helped gently escort her off the premises. Said the shop owner in a Facebook post. She shopped around very nicely and patiently waited for her samples.
Wow.
You gotta see what's not to like when you got an elk with manners. I mean, really.
Well,
if you
I've
have
been in Estes Park several times when they're coming through, and they're just amazing.
They rip up golf courses and things, and the golf courses apparently don't care.
But they stand around in business yards, just munching away and doing
they're
nothing.
Just majestic animals, though.
Yeah,
I mean, they just are.
They're beautiful.
Estes Park is lovely.
Yeah.
One day I hope to visit there, since my sister-in-law lives somewhere there.
I've been there.
I think probably in the Michelle Cave.
You'd really like us.
I would like a ride in the Michelle Mobile.
Well, there you go. Have her take you over Trail Ridge Road.
Yep. She didn't wear a cape though, because she heard about Thunderclap. How he got caught in the. Now we're in the Incredibles. He got caught in the engine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Engine, yeah,
that's right.
Where was I now? Estes Park, beautiful little city, serves as a base camp for hikers visiting nearby Rocky Mountain National Park. I don't hope to visit there because then you'd have to climb things. But it's also a tourist destination in its own right due to its large population of Michelle and elk. Around 2,400 of the animals are.
You're not
estimated to live in
equating
Estes
Michelle and
Valley.
elk here, are you?
No. I'm
I'm
saying
just making sure.
in a perfect world, she would be a tourist attraction. That's not going to help me out either.
Oh boy,
Local businesses taking
her husband may
counters in
come punch you.
No, Gary probably he wouldn't punch me, but we could probably have a beer, which is the same.
Yeah,
Local
pretty much.
businesses take encounters in their stride and know when to call for help. Thank you. Visitors are warned and reminded, please, even animals you see in town and near people are in fact wild animals. They will actually defend themselves if they feel threatened. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're threatening them.
Understand this.
If they feel, just respect your place. And whatever you do not cut in line in front of an elk. Just
Especially those with the big antlers.
comment, because if not, the female elk could always call for her, boyfriend. And then when Bill gets over there with his antlers, duck.
This one came in from Patrick Reed, our man in
That was a
Liverpool.
lot of work for an elk story, wasn't
It
it?
really was. I liked it, though.
Okay.
I liked the opportunity. We did this story some time ago. A
Why
singer,
are we doing it again?
because I have an update.
Are we running out of stories?
No.
Have we run out of stupid in the world? Sorry. I don't know. I was thinking
Do you ever even look at the news?
I don't have to. It seeps out from everywhere.
A singer who claimed to have married the ghost of a Victorian soldier. You remember that story?
Vaguely.
She's getting a divorce.
Well, I can understand that. Hubby's never around.
Wait,
Even when he is around, he's not there.
wait till you. Rocarde, 40, of Oxfordshire, said she met the spirit.
Oxfordshire?
Oxfordshire.
As in like the same place that Morris and Inspector Lewis did their work? Yes, just not yes. Thank you. Okay, cool. And D.I. Hathaway?
She said she met the spirit of Eduardo one stormy night, and it has to be a stormy night.
How much you want to bet Eduardo looked a lot like Fabio in some of those mid-'80s novel covers?
So this dark and stormy night, then a door slammed and a shot rang out, and the boy in Kansas was growing up
You heard a scream.
back in 2021. And
Heard
when
a scream back in 2021?
it was one stormy night in 2021
Oh,
when Eduardo burst into her bedroom and immediately professed his love for her. From that point, they became inseparable. With the ghost, yeah, right. With the ghost even sending her cryptic messages in the shower.
I've tried that. Well, admittedly, they weren't all that cryptic, but
Did you survive?
you've seen the head, right?
Yeah, I've seen this
Yeah.
scar. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Didn't take long before cracks began to appear in their relationship, however. Brocarde previously claimed that she and Eduardo had argued over their wedding date. She said, I want a summer wedding, but he hates the heat, and I'd secretly love to make him melt, but he disappears often enough as it is. After the marriage was officiated, Brocarde also complained they'd fallen out over Eduardo getting too drunk during their honeymoon in Wales. One might well ask,
I think I've seen that in Casper.
why wouldn't you?
Well, you're a ghost. What kind of hangover can a ghost have?
Yeah, and the best they get is one sheet to the wind.
I mean,
Cha!
I mean, think about it. He's drunk. What's he going to do? Have a hangover and wish he were dead?
His apparent fascination. Well, in the months since, though, she claims the spirit had become increasingly possessive. His apparent.
So he's a toxic masculine type ghost.
Exactly.
Yeah. He didn't know that then, but
He does now.
yeah.
His apparent fascination with Marilyn Monroe appears to have proven a further obstacle to marital bliss after
Well,
Brocarde claims to have spotted the spirit of the late Hollywood actress at the chapel.
were they going to get married?
She told Wales Online he would routinely disappear and then emerge days later smelling of Chanel No. 5, Ms. Monroe's favorite perfume.
This girl needs help.
I think we can sum up the whole story with the last sentence.
Yeah.
Brocarde announced the split with the release of her latest track.
Huh.
It's all just clever advertising.
Or she's nuts.
Well, yeah. I'm digging it.
Would this be irony?
Maybe. Is it wrinkled?
Have you no, that'd be ironing.
Oh, sorry. I misheard.
Yeah. No, you didn't. Your Mate's Brewing Company, I love the name, Your Mate's Brewing Company,
Yeah.
has recalled cans of its watermelon sour beer. Okay, just for a minute, anyone's taste buds right now just not clench up in your mouth going, I'm never drinking beer again until later. Its watermelon sour beer was recalled because of excess alcohol, according to the UPI. Yep. See, that'd be irony, right?
I think you're right. There is a wrinkle here.
Since they said it's Your Mate's Brewing Company, you had to guess it was either British or Australian.
Right. Or New Zealand.
What's your guess?
South Africa.
Australian.
Okay. Well, that's close.
The Australian brand said the beer could pose a risk of illness. Well, yeah, just drinking watermelon sour beer sounds like it could make it, yeah?
You could come down with an illness?
A serious illness.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
heretofore and in perpetuity, being drunk shall now be known as illness. I'm illness.
What if you're drinking whiskey?
Ooh.
Work on that. It was apparently it was unintentionally fermented twice. That'll do it. So it was unintentionally fermented twice, causing it to have a higher alcohol content and carbonation, to which most of the world goes, no duh.
Mm-hmm.
Man. The brand is sold in Queensland and online down under, so most of us don't have to worry about it. And a lot of the Australians, I'm sure, are going, I need that beer.
Yeah, things will be simpler.
Especially after their women lost in the World Cup. I'm sure there was a lot of watermelon sour beer down that day.
Have you ever had a sour beer? Have you ever tasted a sour beer?
No, I can't even. For one, watermelon and sour doesn't sound good together at all. Then you mix it with beer.
So
I want to puke now before the hangover.
I was at a beer tasting event, right?
Wait a minute. They have beer tasting events?
They do.
Beer's gone hoity and toity like wine?
Oh, very much. And I found some
spitting noise?
Yeah.
That's my dad Germans. And the Hams bear.
I had a Hams just the other day. My buddy stocks it in his home refrigerator.
Right. Oh, is he on the Hams beer Facebook page? Never mind, sorry.
Okay, never mind. Anyway,
Facebook page, sign up.
I tasted a sour beer and I put it, it wasn't 1 ounce is what they give you.
So you slam that puppy and
I put it in my mouth.
And you swish it around?
No. I looked at my buddy's wife and she went, that bad? I said, mm-hmm. You want to spit it out? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you worried that I might be disgusted if you do? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I won't be.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.